Hang on a minute. You know what I've got? You will not believe. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Late Tonight. You will not believe what's come up on my screen right now. It's just come up. I got our guest, Sean Smith, is in the green room waiting. And we've spent all day fiddling around with stuff. And it's just come up on on Zoom to tell me that we're running out of time. And you... So I think what you've got to do, upgrading it 40 minutes, your meeting will end in 10 minutes. I'll tell you what, Sean can see me and I can see him. But what we'll do, if it stops, we'll go out and come back in again, all right? On the same link. Cool, he's easy with that. Well, look, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Pete Sheriff here. We are back for season 2 of Late Tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're about to go live on the air on Flashback Radio. We're live on video as well. We've got people viewing all that. It's great, this is, because believe it or not, Sean is such a big guest. He's drawing in people from all over the place. I can see the numbers at the top right hand corner of my other screen going up. As you can see, we've changed the studio around a little bit. I'm now in a different position. I've got a big screen here on my left. I've got the reins on the right, the computer in the background. Everything is nice and lovely. So thank you for tuning into the show. Right, now, what are we going to talk about? We've got lots to talk about. A little later on, we're going to talk about Mr. Bezos leaving Amazon, or stepping down, or stepping to one side. We're also going to talk a little bit about the SpaceX launch yesterday, but that's all later. Right now, we've got a big guest. And when I say big guest, I mean huge. I'm going to unmute him because he won't be able to view this, but he'll be able to hear it. So I want his reaction to his to this. Asked to unmute. I've asked to unmute you. Is that working? Are you there, Sean?
We're good. How are you, Pete?
I'm all right, mate. I'm going to bring you on in just a second.
Intrigued.
I'm going to get my notes up because I've written so much about you today. I wanted to make sure that I do it right. Okay, we got a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen. He's a singing star. He's a performer. He's also a panto star. See, I got that as well. He's a panto star and formerly one half of the X Factor group, Same Difference. Here's a little clip of Sean Smith before we... where is it? Late Tonight. You know what? I've got this funny feeling I haven't loaded it. But I've got your intro. While we're doing that, I'm going to play your intro. We're going to chat and I'll get that up. So here we go.
Welcome to the Late Tonight Show, starring Pete Sheriff, with our very special guest, Sean Smith from Same Difference. And we talk SpaceX and Amazon. And now, live from Solihull, just outside Birmingham, just off the A45. Here's your host, Pete Sheriff.
Hey, and ladies and gentlemen, on screen right now is Mr. Sean Smith. Good evening,
wow,
sir.
That is one sexy intro right there.
Thank you so much.
That suits you well, mate. It suits you well.
Sean Smith is here, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know him, you don't know who he is, this guy was in Same Difference on X Factor, were you not, sir?
I was indeed, yeah, way back in the day now. Hopefully your listeners remember. I'm hoping.
Well...
But yeah, what incredible times it was, man.
I've got a crazy clip of you doing a few things, and while you're talking, I'm going to find it. Good evening, Patchy. Good evening. And my mum's watching. Hello, Mum. So that's always good, isn't it? So I've got these clips I've put together of you, and I loaded them on from my iPad onto the computer, but I forgot to load them into the software. So what I'm going to do is, because obviously we've got a time limit as well, haven't we? So I'm going to ask you to tell me how you got into the business, first of all. And I'm talking pre-X Factor. Go right back to the beginning and tell me all everything that happened to you to get you to that point where you went to X Factor. I'd love to hear it.
I don't know if we've got enough time, man. But honestly, I mean, especially with this meeting only lasting 4 minutes more.
Can you see the times? Because I can't see it. But don't worry, because we'll log out and log back in again. It'll be fine.
Perfect. But yeah, basically, man, I've always absolutely loved performing. It's as simple as that. I think I was pretty much singing from, 2 or 3. There's videos of me like on old video singing when I was a tiny little kid. I think I always wanted to be a footballer. My dad was a footballer, and it just never really came off for me in the end, when the kids start getting a lot better than you. So I figured that, I'd give this a go. And it wasn't really until senior school, I guess, when joined this group, joined this band, joined this choir, and it just started spiraling upwards for me. And once people start getting behind you and you start realizing that when you do this, it makes people clap and cheer, it just becomes like a drug. And then you just need more and more of it. So that's kind of how it started for me, really, I guess.
It is one of those things when you're on stage that you can explain it to people, can't you? But you can't make them understand, really. You can tell them, but they've never, unless they've been there or gone up to pick the winner out the raffle or something, they won't understand the power of being on stage. And it's not a power trip or anything like that, is it? It's just the feeling of being able to go and getting a reaction from a crowd. Would you say that's right?
100%, and it's something that you need to really work on as well, because I had to go through, honestly, man, the dog work I went through when I was really young, and sort of doing, I was at the time you could get away with it, but I was like illegally at 16 playing pubs when I had to be 18 and just pretending I was older, and it's like, and people that really do not want to be there, don't want to listen, they just want to have a drink and have a chat with their mates, and that they're the hardest gigs, but they're also the ones that when you get through them, you learn the most. And and it's one of them things you kind of learn over the years to get better at it, and it does. It's almost like and I've got to say, mate, in this time when we haven't been able to perform for a few years, it's been awful, because us performers, we kind of need it. It's like oxygen to us. But having said that, I'm doing everything that I can to sort of make the most of a bad situation and continuing to perform. So I say perform, do whatever I can indoors, still writing and recording and everything like that. Just, make the most of this time, basically. Yeah.
Okay, well, I got some questions for you. The clip might have to wait a little bit until we log out and log back in again. But I'm so
intrigued with this.
We will take. There's another one as well that I've had somebody looking for, and it's amazing. And I listened to it today, and I was like, I need to go back to the beginning and start again with that, because it was just such a great track, and I think you might be surprised when I tell you what it was I was talking about. But anyway, so my questions.
It's not one of mine, is it?
Oh yeah, it's one of you, mate. Trust me, it's one of yours. Okay, tell me about For You to Envy. Tell me about that.
Do you know what? Funnily enough, I was gonna bring that up. But luckily we've got less than a minute. So But yeah, I was in a boy band when I was in my old school days. This was long before X Factor, and I think it started off just a load of lads just having a bit of a laugh, and then the next minute our teacher was saying, we're going to go for this audition for some TV show, and then this band was formed, and we ended up doing Steps to the Stars, which was like a kids show. Steps to the Stars. But all that mattered to us was that we were getting a day off school.
Was that? I don't know Steps to the Stars. Was that something that was on in Portsmouth, was it, or was it?
No, it was on kids' TV.
Was it?
I think it was like CBBC or CRTV or something like that. And basically, H and Claire from Steps were like the hosts of it, and they were just trying to find stars. And yeah, it went to a public vote and we didn't get through.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break. We're going to reset the Zoom. He's gone, look. He's gone because Zoom is horrible to people. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back in probably less than a minute, and we'll get Sean back on to tell us the rest of the tale. This is the Late Tonight Show, live on Flashback Radio, YouTube and Facebook.
Until something better came along. Until something better came along.
So you had me bite through the bullet. I won't play a second fiddle with you. You look away just when they pull it. You gotta step up, yeah, you miss your cue. Ooh, ooh, your time is up now. I'm no fool. I know what you are up to, keep things cool, but it won't help you this time. This time, no, no. This time, yeah.
This is Sean Smith and his incredible debut album, Solo.
So here they are from Portsmouth and RGC.
Yes. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking with us. Hello, Sean.
Hello, I'm pumped now after that track, that's for sure.
Oh man, I tell you what, right? I know you. Unfortunately, the only bad thing about this is you can't see what everyone else can see. But don't worry, you can watch it back later. It's fine.
Am I missing out?
You're going to miss out on this in a little bit in a second because I am about to play the clips I mentioned.
Here we go.
But you'll be able to hear it all right. And I've chopped it up so we don't get any copyright strikes from anywhere. So let's click that and that. And I go to this one here. The folks at home should be able to enjoy some early Sean Smith. Here we go.
This is Sean Smith and his incredible debut album, Solo.
So here they are, from Portsmouth. Hang on to your seats, girls. It's for you to envy.
It's time he had a searching look inside.
My name's Sarah, this is Sean, and we're called Same Difference because we're brother and sister, so we're the same but different.
How are you?
Good, thank you, and you?
Good, so who are you?
We're Sarah and Sean, we're called Same Different.
No one told you life was gonna be this way.
You drive, you broke, your life lasted your way.
Ladies and gentlemen, Same Difference.
Time to do or die.
You see, this is where it gets serious now, mate. Serious.
Yeah.
Yes. My favourite one.
Yeah.
You twist it and turn it, you kiss it and run it to turn me on. Forget the summertime.
Sean Smith's debut album, Solo.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, he's here. So you missed the beginning of that, didn't you? Because
I've got it now. We don't need to talk about that.
Are you sure? I can always play it again. It's not a problem.
No, please stop. Honestly, right up until the new stuff started playing, I was just like, it was cringe central sat here. I couldn't even listen to it.
I minimised the screen, right, so that they had half of that and half of you going, oh, man. So,
do you know what though? I've got to stop doing that because they were good times, and I've got to sort of revere them in my mind.
The thing is, I think when we're young and we do what we do, and listen, out of everything else, you met Simon Cowell. End of. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
Be happy.
He signed us up to his label, but he also said we were two of the most annoying people he's ever met. So swing them roundabouts.
when I was putting those clips together, I put that bit in, and then I lost my bottle, and then took it out again.
Oh, dude, it wouldn't be the first time I've heard that back, believe me. But it's never easy.
No, and the thing is, right, there is one particular bit in that, when you're in the waiting room and you're talking to the camera, and Sarah says we're Sarah and Sean, same difference, blah blah blah, and then it cuts and then it goes back to you again. You look at her like this, as if to say, oh, for the love of God, shut up. But I was going to leave that in, and I took that out as well because I thought if I leave that in, that could embarrass you a little bit. But it was fun. If anybody watching wants to go and watch that on YouTube, Sean's face is hilarious because he's just like, oh man, really?
I seem to spend my life doing that, but it was her that the viewers all tended to sort of love because she was this sort of large and life character, and I think it worked because I was always kind of the older brother, kind of rolling my eyes at her. But it was great times, man. I'll never ever, no one can take it away, and I loved every minute. And
absolutely.
But yeah, it's never easy to watch, believe me.
Now, I watched several interviews with you on. The Loose Women one is hilarious because, trust me, if that wasn't on telly, they'd have been on you like tramp on chips, mate. They'd have been like, bang!
Tramp on chips.
But let me tell you, right? Let me tell you that I was listening to an interview with you where you were talking to a young fella. I wrote his name down because it was really, really, it was a great interview. It's about half an hour long, and he was brilliant, the lad who did it. I can't, where did I write his name down? Oh man, he was ever so good as well. I'll come back to his name because he was very, very good. He's the guy that had the blue Same Difference jacket on. Do you remember that guy?
Oh, Jake Whitworth.
That's him. Yeah, Jake. Yeah. That's him. He
I'm
was
hoping
brilliant.
I'm hoping he's going to be watching this.
He was brilliant, and he was just such. You know what? You could tell because it was you were on show number 1, weren't you?
That's it. Yeah.
And you could tell he didn't quite. He was a bit nervous, and I could imagine he was very sticky that day because he was. You could imagine him being quite warm in that jacket and not knowing quite. Because mate, you're his hero. You're his hero, dude.
He's he's a real special kid. I've got to say, like, a big shout out of love to him today because I hate to go down a negative route, but he has really bad news. His dad passed away yesterday.
Oh, bless him.
And what a lovely, honestly, salt of the earth man who deserves only the best. And, those are the people that matter a lot to you. You need those people that are fans and they love you because it feeds you, and there'll be someone that goes out there and sells you with passion and with love because they feel it for you. And you can't get enough of those people in your life, I think. And I think you should soak as much of them up as you can.
Yeah,
because especially with all this stuff that's going on at the moment, there's just so much negativity about. So when you get people that just shower you with love all the time, I mean, it's unbelievable for you. And as I say, they're invaluable to you as an artist.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing, having done some research about you and looking, your fan base is unbelievable. They are.
Oh, thanks, man.
They're proper loyal to you. That's the first thing, and won't have a bad word said against you. Right? That's the first thing. And you do a quick Twitter search and you find out how loyal they actually are, and that's you, man. That's all on you because
I love that. I mean, do you know what? I don't like searching myself. I don't think anyone does.
No, you shouldn't do that.
People come with, no, it's mate, it's madness. But they like. I always think, those people. I love that they're going to do that. But it's one of those, I think, good or bad, you kind of want people talking.
Yeah.
And I don't look at it because, as artists and stuff like that, you will literally go around the negative ones. So I just kind of like leave myself to it, just think I'll do what I do and things will just naturally, either spiral upwards and get people talking or spiral down, whatever.
Yeah.
But, as far as I'm concerned, like, you need those people in your corner.
You do.
It's special to think you've got people that are out there that are going to do that for you. Obviously, somewhere along the line, I've done something that's just got them hooked. And though, as I say, you need those sort of people that are going to be fans that are going to do that for you. Yeah,
absolutely. And your fans are good, man. They're good people. So
yeah.
So moving swiftly on, there's so much to talk about. So let's just go back to the beginning. So we've done up to X Factor. Tell me the story about you and the X Factor audition, because from what we saw on, and I edited that clip up, so I've watched it a number of times. So, but what we saw on TV was not actually what happened, was it? So, do tell us the story.
I mean, this is well documented for a lot of my fans that be listening. But basically,
we're not going to get like sued by Psycho, are we, or anything?
No, okay. Not at all. Do you know what the beautiful thing is? Recently, we managed to get all our records back.
Oh wow!
From Psycho. So yeah, it's amazing. We now own all of our records again, which is a beautiful thing because there's so much you can do with it now.
Yeah.
And as I say, it kind of puts the power back in our hands with it. But yeah, basically the story goes. I went to audition on my own as a solo artist, and Sarah took a day off of college. She was at Italia Conti in London at the time, just to come and support me, basically. And she was just so sort of bubbly and fun, and she was young, pretty, all that kind of stuff. That the cameras just seemed to like her, and all the people were, with the cameras and stuff, were just coming around her and trying to get her to do voice note. And and it's like when you go to these things, basically they get you to, it's the TV show first and then the auditions. So we had to do all that stuff where you got to wave and like scream and go, yeah, we're here to audition, and all the cutaways that they do. So we're absolutely shattered by this point. We've done so many of these like things to sort of make the TV show.
Yeah.
And then we get to the line and we find ourselves right at the very back. You know?
Oh, man.
And it's like, we're going to be here so long. Anyway, Sarah was just this bubbly energy and she was doing everything, and they were filming her and all this kind of stuff. And basically I said, so what are you going to sing today at your audition? And we're doing it. And she's like, I'm not auditioning. I'm here to support my brother. I was like, you know, I'm here. I know, it was a bit. It was almost like I was there to support her. But anyway, they were like, well, would you, maybe, would you audition together? We were like, we'll do whatever it takes. All right, come with us. Took us all the way to the front of the queue.
Wow.
And and literally took us straight into the room with the producer. I sang, got told no. Sarah sang, got told no. And then the producer came out and said, would you audition together? We hadn't even rehearsed anything, went in there, absolutely annihilated Mel C and Bryan Adams and just embarrassed ourselves. And they said yes. It was like, what? Anyway, and then the next minute they're like, you're going in to see the judges, and we were thinking we better come up with something, eh? It was like, and what we came up with was that monstrosity of a Friends cover.
Whose idea was that? Which one of you was to blame for the?
I honestly can't remember, but I want to say Sarah.
Yeah. Cool, no problem. Yeah, that's cool.
That's the only one we could actually harmonise without going off tune. Well, I'll say that it wasn't ideal, but we basically just screamed it at the judges and got berated. But as I say, the rest is history, and we went all the way that year, all the way to the final, and ended up getting signed, gold album and stuff. So would I change anything? Absolutely not.
It was. It must have been. I mean that. TV in itself is an experience, but Simon has this way of the people that work around him are very creative people, and the kind of way they work is slightly different to how other TV productions work, and the level backstage in that kind of environment must have been amazing. What your experience on that was? It like look out the dressing room and go, what am I going to see next, or
Every day was insane, mate. Every day.
Really?
Just didn't know what to expect. I mean, whatever it takes to make good telly, basically. I saw the best and the worst of stuff during that time. But do you know what? We were very, very lucky because they just seemed to want to fight our corner all the time.
Yeah.
Again, didn't understand why. Obviously, maybe I realised now that we were kind of good telly by just being ourselves and being this sort of larger life characters or whatever. But I saw, like, for example, when they do the bad auditions, you sit and laugh when you're watching them.
Yeah.
But I saw them like rile this guy up who was clearly like, for want of a better word, it's like you could tell there was some mental health stuff going on.
Yeah.
And, they were riling him up saying, you're really, really good. You're amazing. I think you're going to go through and all this. And he was like, yeah, I really believe I can. And then he got absolutely berated and came out and they were like, I can't believe what happened. He was like, I'm so angry at Simon Cowell. And they like manipulated him, So, and when you go, wow, you're sitting there going, this is so wrong. Like, I can't believe they're doing this. But then on the opposite side, it was like when it came to us, they kind of respected us. They almost told you how to be in order to fit the vibe. But, we were just being who we really are. And as I say, because they were always there fighting our corner, it just kind of gave something to us. It gave us a platform to build on that year.
That's one of the things that I think stood out with you guys. Anybody who gets to the live shows must have something, right? But one of the things that stood out with you guys is that you were real. You were normal people. Do you know what I mean? You weren't. Got a Virgin Media email. You were real. You were normal. You were slightly. Okay, right. So I took it when I watched it the first time when it was on. I went, Stage Cool Kids.
Yeah.
But
there it was.
But it wasn't like you were packed off forever to be, never to be seen again until your album came out. You were around, as we've just seen on that. And that's the thing, is that some of those, especially like the Brit school kids, who, they disappear when they're 8 and they reappear again when they're 15 with an album. And you go, what? At least we know with you, it's a bit like when you're a mobile DJ. or when you're a DJ, you have to start somewhere, and you start as a mobile, and then you go maybe to a bar, and then you go to a club, and then you're a superstar in most cases. But with you, we can see that it's there on film. We can see you, and that's why I think people like you so much. It's because they can see that journey. Do you know what I mean? And I watched your stuff, and I was like, this guy is a normal guy. He's a proper guy. And I spoke to a friend of yours this morning, who who was telling me. He said to me, "I'll send you a story about him that you can embarrass him with," and he didn't. all he said to tell you was that he beat you in some race.
Race?
Yeah, in is it the Great South Run or something like that?
Oh mate, are you talking about Joyce? No.
And Andy Joyce said he beat you.
Oh mate, I couldn't get anywhere near him. He's an absolute machine, that guy.
The thing is, we know Andy from getting drunk with us after doing gigs at Butlins and falling over.
I'm not surprised.
and booking us on gigs. So he's our boss. So when he was telling me this, I'm going, okay. but you know what? Fair play, because he says you're a legend, and I happen to agree with him. So fair play to you, man.
Do you know, I happen to think that he's a legend. So, do you know what? That day, I'll never forget it. It was like we started at the same point, and there's like a bit where you go all the way along, and then you go round and round about, and you come back. And considering we're starting at the same point, and bearing in mind, I am absolutely I'm puffing out of wherever, can barely breathe, thinking I've still got about 6 miles to go. And I've just seen him like merrily jogging this way. And I'm like, he's about 2 miles ahead of me. I just thought, how's he managed that? Like, as you know, he's stocky, he's well built, he's like got muscle and that, and he's quite short as well. And I thought, you'd imagine that like my legs would have a bit more going in them, but this guy, he's just a machine. But he's always been like that. I think you'll probably know this. I mean, considering some of the nights you must have had when you stayed up all night DJing and stuff. I mean, he just keeps going and going. But top guy. For a second, I thought you were talking about Calvin, who he's another great friend of mine who hooked up this chat for us. So. Yeah.
Well, Calvin's got his own hair issues, man. So we'll leave him for another day.
Oh, that's cold. That is cold.
Okay. Well, we you know what? I could talk to you all day because I'll find you fascinating. But we're going to end soon. But before we go, I wanted to speak to you about Beware the Bear. Right?
Yeah.
That song on that EP, is it? Hang on. Wishing on the Water. Listen, I don't know how that came about, but you're about to tell me in a second. But that song, I've been a DJ for a long time, played all over the place. There isn't many songs that makes me wind them back. The Live Enjoy Dreamer is one, because I just love the production on it.
Yeah.
Your song is another one. That particular song that you feature on is unbelievable. And tell me, because looking at the video, and I've got a question about the video in a minute, but was that recorded during lockdown and you weren't all together? Somebody's produced that remotely?
Exactly that.
Man.
Exactly that. And that's exactly how I'm working at the moment. I've got, some of the guys behind that. I'm working with them on a new solo album too.
Yeah.
I just know we got something special when we're together, and considering what they managed to do. As I say, I was at home, but laying down a vocal. You then had, bass player, drummer, all in their own houses, recording everything, and it just came together.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the product that we ended up with. But it's one of those things. It means a lot that you say that, and we're just dying for that to really fly and get off the ground. And it's one of those things. It's happening slowly but surely. People are adding it to playlists and Spotify.
Yeah.
And because, as I say, we're a band that have. Well, I say they're a band that are just really starting out, and they're just doing it for the love, it's a labour of love, and I love it too, and it's always out there now. And to hear you say that is what we did it for. It means a lot, So and it's such a tune, but sometimes you've got to stay true to, you've got to play to the people that are there that want a certain thing. You know what it's like when you're on stage. You can play a track, and all of a sudden you'll just feel the energy drop, and you know that you've dropped a claim. I mean, I'm sure you don't do that.
Believe you me, I have done in the past.
Definitely Joycey has done.
I've seen it, mate. Yeah, it's horrific.
No, I'm only joking. But yeah, that's. I know what my fans like.
Yeah.
So, and I know that was a little bit of a curveball for them.
Yeah.
And maybe they've not vibed off that as much.
Oh man.
But it's one of those things. It's taken on a world of itself. But having said that, like I feel like we've got a good thing going with that particular studios and all those guys. So
well, I'm going to tell them now. Trust me, the production on that EP is out of this world. If you've kind of, and I'm talking to the fans now, right? If you've pushed it to one side because you've gone, he's singing on someone else's record, trust me, the sound quality and Sean's voice on that song is unbelievable. And I'm not, even if you weren't here, I'd still say the same thing. It is, I had it on the studio speakers here and it's unbelievable. So fair play to you, man. It's great. It's really
that
good.
Means a lot to me, you know. That's really, that's touching, man, because that's part of the reason why I wanted to do it. And that there is I can't tell you how much it means, Pete. Thanks very much, mate.
No, you're welcome. Listen, we're here to tell the truth and give people what they want. No, just seriously, it's a good song, and you know what? It's when you do the job that I do, and you hear there's certain things that you hear in certain records, and you know that they work. So, and I do have one question though. Why is the drummer wearing an Iron Man mask?
Do you know, he's just this guy. This is what's so beautiful about these guys. They are just who they are, and they do not care. And he's a geek on the inside and out, and he's happy to admit it. And he was like, I'm just gonna try, because it was partly. He was also playing the trombone.
Oh, okay.
So
same guy.
I think he was like doubling up, but. Do you know what? He's just so random and but what a producer, you know, he'll happily say he's a geek, but the fact that he's so comfortable in that makes him cool.
Yeah.
It's really surreal. You know how some people they are who they are, and you just think that's cool even if it's not.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is what makes people cool, is that they are so authentic.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he is. And so random, isn't it? So I remember watching that video. He said, okay, I'll put the video together, you know, have a little watch. I thought, what's he doing? But people would always go, oh, that's the video with the guy that's got the mask on. You know?
I did have to watch it again.
Sure my hair looks good and all that. And I just thought.
I was like, is he wearing a night? He is. He's Tony Starked up. Look, that guy. Okay.
Dude, he is some drummer as well, honestly.
He is, yeah.
He absolutely blows me away with his talent, but not only that, like he plays every instrument. So, for example, at the moment when we do stuff, the way it works is he's literally taken what we've got. He makes all the tracks and then goes, okay, I've now got the structure and everything there. I'm now just going to send it off to the people that are really top class at what they do musician wise.
Yeah.
And then he just piles it all back together. And that's exactly what happened with Where the Bear. And it's what's happening on the new album. And as I say, I think we've landed on something really exciting here.
Yeah, definitely. So before we go, tell us new stuff. What's other than, obviously you alluded there to new stuff coming. What else you got? What, you're cooking something up nice for us?
Oh, it's cooking nicely, believe me, and it's going to be here a lot sooner than people might expect, because the last album took like 2 years to make.
Yeah.
Purely because I was going off and I was doing musical theatre and all this kind of stuff, and it kept getting pushed back and back and back. Whereas this one, there's no excuses. We're in lockdown. Let's just get it out while it's fresh.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing I started to notice with my other album. Like we had to go back on certain production because things had changed and all this kind of stuff. And there was never seemed to be a good time to just get it out. And eventually we just had to take the plunge. Whereas with this one, it's like, let's just move while it's fresh.
Yeah.
Just do it. And that's kind of where that's at. And yeah, I mean, you know, theatre wise, it's all shut down at the moment, so it's one of those where I just have to wait and see what happens. But I'm very pleased to say that I've signed off on the job for the end of the year, which I can't say just yet. I've got something coming. But the trouble is, it's so obvious to me. I think
is it similar to last year's one?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, look, for an entertainer at the moment, it's notoriously tough. You know, everyone's got to find new ways of getting themselves out there. But I'm definitely, you know, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, and that's how things are working out for me at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, Sean, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. We've ran massively over time, but you know what? It's been worth it. So thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you around. You know, we'll see when stuff gets back to normal and we're out there. Come along to one of the gigs with the boys, and we'll have a chat. We'll have a chat.
100%. God bless you, Pete. Thanks so much for your kind words, and I've had a wonderful time. Thank you.
No worries, man. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favour, give it up and make some noise for the one and only Mr. Sean Smith. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Pete. Cheers, buddy.
Sean Smith there, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's it for tonight. They're a bit rocky with the old Zoom, a bit tricky. But there we are. We're back. We're back next week, and we were going to have a chat about rockets from the producer's talking in my ear. We're going to have a chat about the SpaceX launch yesterday and Jeff Bezos. But you know what? Sean's interview has been so good, I'm not even going to go there. So we're just going to finish it right there. Thank you so much for watching. We are back next Wednesday night with Junior from Entrance. Make sure you come and check that out, because it's going to be a great show. From me, Pete, from Pete the producer on the other end, and from everybody else. Oh, sorry to Matt Bullock that we have to bump him. He's probably home asleep anyway. So we'll be back next week with another show at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much. We'll see you later. Good night.